Could treatment for obesity have nothing to do with weight loss, but only have to do with physical activity and cardiorespiratory fitness? That's the hypothesis behind a new paper published in iScience titled Obesity Treatment, Weight Loss versus Increasing Fitness and Physical Activity for Reducing Health Risks. This kind of goes against a lot of what we've been taught recently, that weight loss is the most important thing and diet is how you get there. You can't outrun a bad diet. Physical activity and exercise is less important than weight loss. But now this paper kind of turns that on its head. So what do we make of all this? I'm Dr. Brett Scher, the medical director at dietdoctor.com, and I find this paper fascinating, and it really plays in to sort of cut to the chase. For me, this really summarizes nicely the idea that we don't just need weight loss. Weight loss is not the goal, but healthy weight loss is a completely different topic and something that needs to be thought of as separate and unique, and the details of healthy weight loss matter. That's where I think this paper is going, but that's not their point. Their point was actually physical activity is better for reducing all-cause mortality than weight loss. Now, this paper was written by Glenn Gaser, and I'm going to have a podcast episode with him as well, so I'm really looking forward to that sometime in the near future. But basically what they did in this paper was they looked at this fat but fit paradigm, that there are people who are overweight but in good health, good respiratory fitness, cardiorespiratory fitness, good physical activity levels, who seem to not have the same increased risk of health complications and mortality of dying young than people who are less fit. And it's true, in a number of studies, when you compare the overweight but fit, they do better than the normal weight but very poor fitness. So there are a number of things to unpack here. One, does this mean that being fit overrides any problems with being overweight or obese? And two, does it mean that if you're normal weight, fitness is more important than your weight? So depending on how you look at that. Now, as with a lot of studies, if the studies you're looking at are sort of, the observational studies, well, then people sort of separate themselves out, right? It's different to say people who are already fit and have the ability to be fit. That's different than saying if you randomize people to make them fit or not. But they included some randomized trials in their review as well. So they have a number of really interesting points. The first is that moderate to high levels of cardiorespiratory fitness or physical activity attenuate the mortality risk of being obese. Now, this is an important word, attenuate. It may not eliminate it completely, right? It doesn't mean you're doesn't mean you have the same outcome as someone who is normal weight and in good physical condition with good cardiorespiratory fitness. But it attenuates, it lowers the risk, and the data is pretty clear on that. And that's okay for people who can get there, right? For people who can get there. But I guess another question is, wouldn't it be better if you had lower weight and higher cardiorespiratory fitness? So shouldn't that be the goal? Second part was with physical activity alone, you can improve cardiometabolic risk factors, which this is what I found really interesting, right? With physical activity alone, without weight loss, you can improve cardiometabolic risk factors. But the same can be said for nutrition. With nutrition interventions alone, particularly low-carb interventions, you can improve cardiometabolic risk factors without weight loss. Now, with weight loss, you're certainly going to improve cardiometabolic risk factors with a healthy diet. And I'm going to get into that, all this concept of healthy weight loss. Stick to the end, and I'm really going to tie this together. But it can be said for either with physical activity alone or with nutrition, specifically low-carb nutrition with adequate protein, you can improve cardiometabolic risk factors without weight loss. So that doesn't mean that you should ignore diet just to focus on fitness, because you should focus on both potentially for healthy weight loss for improving cardiometabolic health. Their third point was that weight loss is not universally associated with reduced all-cause mortality. And this, again, ties into this main theme. All weight loss is not the same. If you're losing weight in a way that reduces your resting metabolic rate and you're losing muscle mass as well as fat mass, chances are you're not necessarily improving your health. You may wear smaller clothes, the scale may say a smaller number, but that's not the same as improving your health. So great point that they brought up here, that weight loss in general is not always associated with decreased mortality or improved survival. For that, you have to focus on healthy weight loss. And that's where they bring in this concept of cardiorespiratory fitness as being a big component of healthy weight loss. This article seems to say it's, kind of the one thing you should shoot for. I'd say it's one component of it, but definitely an important component. Then they also bring up this concept of weight cycling, and they even have a little diagram that says weight loss futile cycle. And they bring up the concept there's actually some potential danger for weight cycling, gaining and losing and gaining and losing. And this is so interesting because this is what goes into the 40, 50 years of reduce your fat, eat less, move more, that is the way to lose weight. And I think we're starting to see pretty convincingly that is not the way to lose weight for most people. That is sort of a failed approach that leads to this weight cycling, because you may lose weight for a little bit, but you increase your hunger, you lower your resting metabolic rate, and then you're going to gain weight right back. But instead, what if we could lose weight in a way that didn't do that? So this paper, I think, was a little superficial from that aspect, and I want to talk to the authors a little bit more about it in the future. But the way weight loss has been done, like in the Look Ahead trial, they reference this Look Ahead trial, which showed people can lose weight by eating less, moving more, at least temporarily, but they don't improve their long-term outcomes. And I think that has a lot to do with maybe not reducing insulin levels, not affecting resting metabolic rate, not building lean muscle mass, that ties into it. So here's another way to look at this, that losing fat mass and losing muscle mass is pretty easy to do. Gaining fat mass is unfortunately also easy to do. Gaining muscle mass might be a little bit more challenging to do. But what do you want to do in this whole picture is you want to lose fat mass and you want to maintain, not lose, or potentially even gain lean mass. That's a big component of healthy weight loss. And that's probably what a lot of this physical activity, cardiorespiratory fitness markers could be, is its lean body mass. And they had some evidence in here about body fat percentage and about body composition, but it's clear there wasn't as much data on that as there was for just cardiorespiratory fitness and physical activity in general. But I would hypothesize that if you're losing weight in a way that you're losing fat mass and maintaining or gaining lean mass, that's a big component of losing weight in a healthy way that is going to show benefits for mortality. It's clearly going to show benefits for metabolic health because that's a way that you can burn more glucose, lower your insulin levels. In fact, there are papers coming out now showing that exercise alone can reduce visceral fat and can improve insulin sensitivity. So I think those two go hand in hand. If you're building muscle, you're using glucose better, you're improving insulin sensitivity, which can then help with losing visceral fat. So it's sort of this bit of a cycle that's a very beneficial cycle to having lean mass and having cardiorespiratory fitness. But that can go hand in hand with healthy weight loss if you're losing fat mass. So although I think this paper is very interesting and I really like the points they brought up, again, I think it's a little bit superficial. It's not that we should ignore weight loss and only focus on cardiorespiratory fitness and physical activity, but instead we should focus on healthy weight loss. So I've sort of been beating around the bush a little bit here. What is healthy weight loss? Well, I've said it's losing fat mass and maintaining or increasing lean mass. It's protecting your resting metabolic rate, right? Those Kevin Hall studies and the Biggest Loser study showing that you can just destroy your resting metabolic rate and burn 700 fewer calories per day 6 years after your weight loss. I mean, that's so problematic for maintaining your weight loss. So you want to lose weight in a way that maintains that resting metabolic rate, maintains lean mass, loses fat mass, but also a way that you can enjoy it, right? It has to be sustainable for you. Your diet has to fit into your lifestyle. And that's just it. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle, right? It's something that you have to be able to live with and enjoy and maintain long term. So how do you do this? Well, I think protein is a big part of it because we know protein helps you maintain lean body mass. And protein combined with resistance training helps you build lean muscle mass. So this also probably ties into a bit of the protein leverage hypothesis, that you need to be getting enough protein to have healthy weight loss. So I think that's a big component of it. Another component could potentially be intermittent calorie restriction rather than chronic caloric restriction, because chronic caloric restriction can definitely lower the resting metabolic rate, where intermittent calorie restriction, like a time-restricted eating, a simple 16-8 type pattern, likely maintains your resting metabolic rate and may actually boost your growth hormone, which can also help maintain lean muscle as long as you're getting enough protein and stimulating your muscles. In addition to getting enough protein, there's this concept of adequate nutrition. Now, fortunately, if you're prioritizing natural whole foods that are high protein foods, you're going to get a lot of your nutrition in general. Your micronutrients are going to come with that. But if it's a combination of an adequate protein diet with plenty of above ground fibrous veggies, you're getting adequate nutrition. That's going to be a good quote unquote balanced diet. I hate that term balanced diet, but balanced in the sense that you're getting your proteins, your macronutrients that you need, and your micronutrients that you need. And then independently to that, there are studies showing that low-carb diets can help you lose predominantly fat mass and maintain or even gain lean mass. So perhaps it's the combination of a low-carb, doesn't have to be keto, but a low-carb, adequate to high-protein diet combined with physical activity and improving cardiorespiratory fitness and resistance training. That is likely the best approach for healthy weight loss that's going to allow you to lose weight in a way that's going to improve all your cardiometabolic risk factors and likely decrease your long-term risk of premature mortality. We don't have that necessarily that long-term data, but for me, it certainly makes sense. And that's where I'd like to see this paper go to take that next step. That yes, our current weight loss approaches don't work for improving long-term mortality in a number of studies. Physical activity and cardiorespiratory fitness do improve mortality in a number of studies. So let's combine a smarter, healthier way of weight loss with physical activity and cardiorespiratory fitness. And that's going to give you your best improvement of metabolic health and probably improved survival down the road. So I hope this was helpful, and it really does tie in this concept of healthy weight loss, which we're really making a push for at Diet Doctor. We don't want you to see all weight loss as the same and any weight loss is good weight loss. No. We want you to focus on healthy weight loss so that you're improving your health, you're feeling better, you're improving your life as you lose weight. And we have guides at dietdoctor.com that focus on healthy weight loss. We'll link to a number of them below in the description. So if this was helpful, please click the thumbs up and the subscribe button so you'll get all our updates here on Diet Doctor News on YouTube. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good day.